is right on my face, too.
Cool. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday.
What's up, y'all?
Monday,
What's up, guys?
Happy Monday, everybody. Good to see everybody. Let us know what questions we can answer for you guys. We're live every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And we got the whole gang back after a little Memorial Day holiday.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We still didn't miss the day, though, right?
No.
I went live. I ripped a little money Monday. I couldn't break the streak.
Had to hold down the fort.
Yep.
Cool, sweet. All right, sweet. What's up, everyone here? Hi, y'all. Pacers in 5. Yeah, Pacers in 5 for sure.
Psych.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see. Hey, dude, I gotta find out how in pickup to get the refs to give me calls, like Shy gets.
How do I get the pie chart on Seller Amp? I can't find it.
That's just in your settings. Yeah, Sean. It's just buy box statistics.
Yeah, so if you go to, I think it's settings, and then you hit panels, and then you scroll down on the right, you'll see that. Yeah. What's up, Joey here? Oh, Joey, you and I were texting earlier. What's up, family? What's up? That's a rising star right there. Fitness Talk. Good to see you too. Good to see you too here as well. What's up?
Joey's got good vibes in the profile pic, showing up to stream.
He's active on Discord too. Yeah,
some potential greatness in the making there.
That's facts.
What's up, Avel? What's up, Alexandra? What's up, Charlie?
Yeah. Also, too, guys, if you want us to review Kiba charts or anything like that, drop those in the chat too, and we are happy to take a look for you guys as well.
Yeah, that's always really helpful.
Yep. Hi, what's up, MMM? Cool. All right, what questions y'all got? We appreciate this, the showing love on the what's up. What all do you want us to dig into and everything?
Yeah,
Miles, where's the first stop? You said France or Italy?
Yeah, France. Yeah, for like a week. Yeah, hello, Basile.
When are you going, Miles?
Tomorrow.
Nice.
Tomorrow.
Nice.
Yep, till the 13th. Hello, Corey and Miles. Yeah, no Warner and Garrett there. No Warner and Garrett.
All right. Whatever.
Yep, I'm dropping one of the most helpful videos I've ever posted too right after this on a bunch of reading Kiba chart examples. So definitely make sure you watch that.
Can you show a beautiful chart that every seller should look for? One where the new offer count is going down and the buy box price is going up. And the sales rank is very low.
I've actually got one on deck from a
cool. All right, let's pop that up real quick. Okay.
It's literally just a snapshot from earlier, right? Like this is what you're looking for.
Beautiful.
Super basic. You can see still lots of sellers on this, right? So there's still like 15 or so sellers at this point. There was a lot more in the past. Price is pretty stable, hopping all over the place, and now you can see it's like going up. If you can see something like that, then you are set. Obviously, if you can find one of those things happening where the price is going up and sellers is kind of staying stable or going down a little bit, or if sellers are going down, the price has been stable, and only one thing can happen, right? Kind of simple economics going to kick in, and price is going to go up soon.
But even if the price isn't going up like that, all you're really looking for is stability, right? Because that leads to the consistency and dependability, right? As long as the offer counts are consistent and the price is consistent, as long as you can account for what's going to happen, right? That's the whole thing of using and using the data to buy products. We're analyzing the historical data to make as much of an educated guess on what will happen as possible.
Let's help Alexandra out here. She's saying, I've been researching wholesalers. How do I know they're legit? Some of them say they need us to order from WhatsApp or Telegram. I thought red flag, but what do you guys think? So Alexandra, anytime a supplier is operating through WhatsApp or Telegram, 99.999% of the time, Amazon is not going to approve them as a legit supplier. They're just not going to have good paperwork. They're probably not buying directly from the brand. These are more just like casual wholesalers. So what I would recommend is buying from actual legitimate distributors who are buying directly from the brand. And now these are going to be bigger companies that have been around for a while, that have, they deliver on their own trucks, right? A lot of them, some of them are regional. So those are the types of suppliers you're going to want to shoot for if you're not going to work directly with the brand, which you should be working directly with some of these brands too.
And
so you're telling me the $3 liquid IV from Instagram was fake, Corey? Come on now.
remember
stolen, 100%
that high
stolen.
key The Telegram wave of 2023 high key started the whole Section 3 mantra. That did
Totally,
not exist.
100%.
It was
100%.
that and the fake like Nike, Adidas, Puma, all that kind of stuff. There was all the
Yeah.
like fake international
Like
sellers,
Turkish.
and it was paired with like everyone selling fake stuff on
Joe,
Telegram.
what's
so,
up, Joe?
What
yeah.
up, Joe? Good to see you, family.
What's up,
That
big
was
dog?
what was so ironic was
good,
there were
Joe.
those listings that would have a lot of the Turkish sellers on them, but then there were some that had none. And I always kind of wondered the what caused that. You know?
It is true. Yeah, it's like it's simple cause and effect. Like you get a bunch of fake and stolen merchandise on Amazon, you get waves of Section 3s.
I mean,
Ooh,
so many people are overcomplicating the whole wholesale model, right? It's very, very extraordinarily simple. You identify a list of brands that are optimized for what you're looking for, right? No brand on the listing, no Amazon consistent sales rank, all those sorts of things. Reach out to the brand. If you don't get that one, ask for a referral for authorized distributors that they use, right? And it's a very straightforward process. And if you do that 20 times over qualified warm brands, of course, not the big ones like the Oral-B's and the Juts of the world, right? Small, medium-sized brands inside any sort of niche that you're interested in, you're going to have success.
And better yet, if you do that operating in one specific category, right? Or like one specific niche. I mean, you literally do that to 50 brands in the same category, asking to open a wholesale account. And if they deny you, then asking to be referred to a distributor. And you're going to have so many leads. You're not going to have nearly enough money to spend on those products, right? But most people they quit at number 3 or number 7 or number 5. They don't make it all the way to 50.
Yeah, I
And
got
it really only
a
takes,
comment
like, a
on one of
couple
my.
weeks.
I got a comment on one of my wholesale videos. They're like, I called 15 suppliers and I got nothing. So it's like, you multiply that by 10.
Well, I mean,
and then let's have a conversation.
That's the thing, right?
That's how the
more-
probability curve works. Is like
Yeah.
you know however many every 75 you call or whatever, or every 50 or something. But the key is if you only do 15, you might get incredibly lucky and then think your hit rate's higher than it should be, or you
Yeah,
might.
I mean, you might hit that, like that first
Yeah.
call of the day might be a crazy
Yeah.
lead, or you can call 50 companies in a day. It leads to nothing. That's just
So
that's the filter that kind of
Like, and
makes
Corey,
it
Yeah,
successful.
that's
right?
true.
The more strategic, refined, and calculated your outreach is, the more your conversion is going to be, right?
Yep.
If you're reaching out to saying, hey, I'm a wholesaler operating in the hiking space, right? We work with some of the brands XYZ. We're looking to add your brands to our hunting or our hiking catalog. We
Yep.
see how the wording is, right? You're perceiving yourself, whether it's valid or not, as a authentic, legitimate, stable hiking company, right? As opposed to the other outreach that says, hey, I'm an Amazon, so I want to buy your products. No
Right.
one's gonna pick up on that. But if you name drop the niche, if you name drop maybe some of their competitors,
Mhm.
right? If it's very specific to a particular niche, your conversion is going to be that much better. And that's why with wholesale, contrary to contrary belief,
Whoa, G-body. Let's get it together.
it's a quality over quantity thing, right? You
Right.
don't need to reach out to 300 brands. You need to reach out to 50 qualified brands the right way. And you're always going to have way more success that way, as opposed to blindly using some sort of a general email template sent out to 500 brands and hoping something sticks.
Exactly. And yeah, a lot of most sellers make the mistake of they reach out to 5 grocery brands and then they reach out to 5 electronics brands and then
Yeah.
they reach out
Using the
to
same template, which is never going to work.
or what I'm saying is they're really just not concentrated in a category.
Yeah.
It just makes it much easier when you focus. And so Joey has a really good question here too. And shout out to Joey. He's always showing love on the YouTube videos, but he said if a brand needs 100 to 300 units to ungate, do you risk placing a wholesale order? What happens if they deny the invoice you send? So Joey, that sometimes is a risk. Joey deals. That sometimes is a risk that you got to take, right? Because you've got to, Joey, ask yourself this. If you Google the name of your supplier, what comes up? If a website comes up that is that shows all the brands that they carry with contact information and, an about us page and a Google business page with reviews and their address, if all that stuff comes up, then chances are it's going to be easy for Amazon to verify them. And if you Google your supplier's name and nothing comes up, or they're buried under some, page 10 of Google, then they're probably not going to accept that invoice. So that's kind of the filter I would put that through.
Makes sense. How can I ungate Squishmalls? Target, Kohl's, and any big Any big retailer. Any tips for keep a product finder? Yeah, so I recommend, 0 to 10K a month. You pretty much want to be doing storefront stocking mainly, right? Keep a product finder makes sense once you have some favorite brands to kind of pierce deeper into it. Once you got some favorite brands to dig into it, right there. So honestly, for the most part, wouldn't really recommend doing it. But if you're gonna do it, only do it for brands you already know are good. Never do it just like categorically, and do it for brands you know are good, and do like 0 to 200K rank, Amazon out of stock, plug in the brand, search the result, and then filter it by 90-day buy box % increase.
Yeah, you'll be better off if you just dig through stores for first. But Tony's giving you some heat there, Garrett.
Wait, yeah, bro. Tony had a VA. Tony has a new VA as of like a week or so ago. So big W's for Tony there. Thanks. I'm from Brazil. I was able to make my first sales. Come on, yellow metal Fizz.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yellow
Love to see it. Let's see. Yeah, somebody was asking about the like restocking strategy for a specific product. Yeah, so generally just like whenever you're down to like 2 or 3 weeks worth of stock left on something, you can hit the restock order as far as like OA goes. And yeah, the vast majority of OA products be able to restock like a couple times. So like the better you can get at that. And then also don't think about just like restocking stuff that's actively selling. Think about stuff you bought 6 months ago it was only good 6 months ago, and that same sale's back. It's like another limited time deal. So think like Memorial Day and Black Friday. A lot of times those are like the best sales of the years, right? So sometimes you're only going to be seeing those certain pricing. So then it's about like filtering down to that website. So just do your future self a favor and have one sheet with very clean sortable columns, that kind of stuff, with everything you've ever bought, and it makes it way easier to scale.
So W Take from Moo here says, hey guys, been selling for about 2.5 weeks and have surprisingly started getting ungated for most brands I try. I'm still working on retail arbitrage, but want to get into online arbitrage. You are the first person ever that has said that, and that is awesome.
No,
awesome right
I feel like that should be the experience though, right? It's like that's what happens when you've been selling for 2.5 weeks. You list some products, you make some sales, it starts loosening up a little bit for you, right? So that's awesome. I mean, that's how it should be.
Yeah. Set yourself up to succeed. I'm sure you took many at-bats at it too. You're just submitting stuff, seeing what sticks, and go to the opportunity.
I have 700 units to be shipped out. Apparently the brand was incorrect and Amazon not accepting ungates. Damn, that sucks. Okay, see if there's another listing for that brand. This will occasionally happen, but you have to make sure every item you buy is already branded correctly, right? You have to make sure that the products you're buying, they don't say generic brand. They don't say some other foo-foo brand name where it says under the title on Amazon right there. See if there's a correct listing for that brand on Amazon. Otherwise, you'll have to liquidate elsewhere. Yeah.
A lot of times, like you're saying, Jordan will be under like the wrong brand, or generic's the big one you'll see there. Where'd you rank back to school? It's definitely up there. Yeah.
I know you guys love back to school. You guys have always crushed with back to school.
There's good wholesale stuff for some of the back to school stuff. I've been looking into it. Yeah.
I mean, low key office supplies as a wholesale niche is a really, really good category. There's a lot of, because it's boring as hell, right? But that makes a lot of people not look at it. It makes a lot of people turn away from it.
Yeah, because there's obviously a lot of high demand periods, but a lot of times it's very specific. Like Easter, you're not going to be slinging a bunch of, you're not going to be selling like the same variety. Like back to school is Kleenexes and crayons and backpacks and shoes and hoodies and all kinds of stuff, right? Like, but Easter, it's like, all right, candy and eggs and that kind of stuff, right? Like
anything Crayola just like goes berserk for like 3 weeks leading up to school.
Yeah, storefront stock off, people selling multi-packs of Crayola. Like this time for the next like 3 or 4 weeks, you'll find a ton of back to school leads.
That's game. So can you tell us how you price no buy box listings? Yeah, you just match the lowest price, honestly. Yeah, just match the lowest price.
Joey, another good question here. So he's saying he's been finding some suppliers won't sell to him because they have a partnership with the brand and the brand doesn't allow them to sell to anyone who sells on Amazon. Any tips to get around that? So Joey, that's a scenario where like it's pretty much going to be impossible to do anything except change the brand's mind. Like that's the only thing that's going to allow you to sell in this case. So what I would do if I were you is I would pitch the distributor on, well, hey, like, we can sell X amount of you guys, like show them how much potential you have to spend with them. And then ask them to introduce you to the brand, say, hey, let's go pitch the brand together on why you guys should be allowed to sell to us, right? So that way you're coming at the brand, like both you guys united front. hey, this is how we can have a win-win-win for the three of us, right? If we're just allowed to sell on Amazon. And then that I would think is probably your best bet.
But I mean, that's also part of the reason why when you're identifying the hit list of brands that you want to reach out to, you're looking for anything with like 4 or 5 sellers at the minimum, right? Because that's going to increase the chances that you're spending time on brands that are more accepting of the Amazon space, right? When the brand's not on the listing, right? When there's not 1, 2, or 3 sellers on that particular listing, right? When there's 6, 7, 8, and that offer count's oscillating pretty consistently, your chances of that brand at least or being open to the proposition of you buying from them is way, way higher.
Yep. How can I find more replen products versus one-time flips? Pretty much nothing's a one-time flip unless it was discontinued. You're just thinking of it in too short of a time horizon, right? So the stuff that will be very replenishable fast, not just when a sale's going on, is going to be anything that's bought with like a 10% email coupon rather than like a 20% off sale, basically. Yeah. Yeah. Would you recommend private label products? No, we don't do private label. It totally works, right? But in general, to start it, unless you got like 10 or 20 grand in good business experience, definitely don't do private label. Just do online arbitrage.
Yeah,
Tony
those initial
said-
mistakes are going to be magnified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like the best private label sellers, every now and then they're going to spend 5 or 10 grand on something. It goes nowhere. So build your cash machine and then throw it into long-term assets.
The
Yeah.
best private label sellers have a 30% hit rate. So for
That's
every
what I've heard too.
3
yeah.
products they launch, one of them ends up doing really well. And these are the best private label sellers. So just keep that in mind.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Tony said Samsonite very underrepresented on Amazon. Yeah, I bet, dude. I bet. And they've got a lot of big bulky products too, right? Think about their luggage, and they've got other products in the office supplies category. So that's a big brand that if somebody had an in with them, I bet you could pitch something, right?
sense.
How can I find? Oh, we already got that one.
See,
there.
Joey had a good question. Is 1 to 2 hours a day of sourcing enough to pay off down the line? Having a hard time finding time other than packing equipment. Yeah, I mean, whatever you can spend is better than nothing, right? Figure out like, especially if you are busy, like you can go like old school, like new hire style on yourself and write down what you did every hour or every 2 hours, that kind of thing, and you'll probably find some time in the day that you can win back. But yeah, I mean, if 1 to 2 hours is genuinely all you have, it's better than zero, right? Like, yeah, you'll make daily progress.
But Joey, so I would challenge you to say if you only have 1 to 2 hours of sourcing and you're spending a lot of the rest of your day packing and prepping, dude, you've got to outsource packing and prepping, right? Get a prep center and spend that, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours per day, however long that was taking you, spend that time sourcing. That's how you're going to make all that money back and then some. That would be the first thing that I would do.
Yeah. Would you sell chocolate FBM at this time? Nah, it's not really meltable season. And that's why Amazon doesn't really allow you, honestly.
That's going to get cooked in the mail real quick, very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Nice.
Well, unless you're sending them with cold packs. Kita said, when test buying product, what's a minimum that you guys buy as a test? Does it rely on the specific distributor? So Kita, for me, when I do a test, I like to test anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks worth of inventory. And if, as long as that's around the distributor's minimum, then that's what I'll buy.
Yeah. How do you track products that are only good on sale? Just like on a Google sheet, right? That way, when that sale rolls back around, and you have a whole bunch of stuff in the past, you're just filtering down on your Google sheet, right? You can also you can set like a keep alert too, in case two things can happen, right? The price can go up on the item, or the sale or the price to buy it can go down. So track both. Track on your Google sheet for when prices go down, and track on Keepo for when Amazon prices go up.
Yep. And then have the burner email to get fed the different sales that are going on, and have the homies. Like that makes this stuff really, really easy, is having people you're working with on this stuff and everything. So, do your best to be active in the community, find some guys or gals to work with. That really, really speeds the process up and makes it a lot of fun too, honestly. And then some of the best memories of my life are hopping on with G-Body and the fellas and Warner and the fellas back in the day, and looking for Warner storefront was a good time too. Can you show us how to make stuff on Shoe Rack? Good. I've never even heard of Shoe Rack. Excellent
I haven't
terminology.
either.
Let's say Shoe Rack here. You mean Nordstrom Rack or what do you mean here? I'm
Yeah,
not seeing
I'm not
shoe
seeing
rack.
anything pop up there.
Oh, well,
He had a good question about test buys though. What's the minimum that you'd buy? Does it rely on specific distributors? So usually, if you can buy like 5 or 10 of something, that's going to be the way to go. If you're doing like distribution, you'll usually be like an MOQ that you have to meet though. So usually the distributor tell you what that minimum is.
boom, boom. Tweet. Cool. So yeah, if y'all got any ASINs you want us to check or any questions, keep firing away, guys. We're here to help. We got lots of good content on our YouTube pages too, as well as the Buy Box Bandits podcast. We got 150 plus episodes too, or of Buy Box Bandits, almost 200 actually. Let's see. I meant Rack Room Shoes. Oh, BOGO. Oh, we'll see some stream exclusive love here. That's made me lots of money over the years. The buy one get one 50% off. Combine that for eligible products. There is a lot of eligible products with the 20 off 100 plus deal. Sometimes it's 10 off 80 though. It kind of pops back and forth.
Yeah, the general rule, like I like the making stuff on a certain website good. That's like how you guys all need to be thinking about OA, right? The general rule is like coupon sale, easiest to check for, discounted gift card, a little bit higher layer, but a lot of times you can get like 10 to 20%. And then getting more complicated, like using the catch-all email, literally just hit up customer service, say, hey, we want to buy X amount of this. Like, do you have a coupon we can use? That kind of stuff. There's a lot that you can dig into, but yeah.
And then when you combine 2 or 3 of those, that's when you really get surgical.
Yeah, for sure. I'll drop a quick list in my chat for you guys too.
Let's see. Discount.
Keep a drop.
So important. So important. Yeah, keep a drops. What are you guys' thoughts? I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention to them. I don't think they really mean. I mean, they've indicated that the sales rank has dropped, so sales have been made, but it's not a reliable indicator of how many sales.
Yeah, because for something to drop from like let's say 8K to 7,500K, it would probably show us one drop on the chart, but that's like probably 100 plus sales to lower that much at that range.
Yep. Can you explain how Cold Cash works? Yeah. So when it's on, which it's on about 2/3 of the time, for every $50, not one time, every $50 you spend, you get $10 of store credit, basically to spend typically about a week later, but it'll show the specific dates there. Yeah. Can you tell how many? Not particularly. Sometimes the offers tab will be accurate, but typically, no. I'm worried about buying products and then Amazon declining the invoice. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of like if that happened, and it was impossible to get done, right? Then there'd be no sellers on the listings, you know?
Can a product with a good BSR of 100 plus, good ROI and margin being 15% and higher still fail? If so, how? Yeah, so really any product can fail, right? If a lot of new sellers jump on that listing, like if that new offer count really goes up, then that buy box price is going to come down, and it probably will come down to the point of being break even or not even profitable. So that really is the main risk you take with any product, regardless of how fast it's moving.
Keeping digital files. Good question from Kelly here. So the nice thing is your email has those forever. As I don't know Gmail's guidelines on deleting stuff, but at least for years and years and years, your email has them forever, honestly.
Yeah. Do they delete it? I feel like you just have to
Maybe.
you have to buy some extra storage if you
That's
max
what I
out your
do,
Gmail.
Yeah.
I do that too.
Yeah.
Let's see, Kita, can have good BSR, good ROI, margin being I mean, there's a lot of factors that can go into like an item can look perfect today and not be good tomorrow, right? Like you're looking for like on average, if the ROI is great and BSR is great and you use some discounts, like that sounds like a winning product, and just kind of inevitable that not every single product you buy is going to be a home run and work exactly as you wanted. But as long as you're controlling for everything you can, then that's the game.
And it goes without being said, though, the higher the margin, the more your room for error is, right?
Yeah.
The more wiggle room you have, right? Because if you're buying an 11% margin, well, you just have to be that much more confident that market's going to be consistent, right? Because your room for error, if something's 11%, is way less than if something's 22%. You know what I'm saying? So when there's a tighter margin, you have to make up for that otherwhere or elsewhere, whether it's in velocity, whether it's in just general stability over years and years, or how you acquire the product. You just have to be more confident in that market, right? That's why we're not necessarily super advocates of buying at less than a 10% margin unless you're a super veteran and know exactly how much you're going to be making at what scale, and that's going to work out in your favor.
Yeah. Heard that Nike and Adidas not allowed. Yeah, not allowing new sellers as of about 13 or 14 months ago. Yeah.
VSCG, good question.
Yes, sir.
How do you analyze risk? Worst case scenario is break even on historical price. So a good easy rule of thumb to look at is kind of like you said, I'll look at the entire last year, and as long as I'm, at the very worst case breaking even over looking at the entire last year's pricing trend, then that to me is a good risk worth taking as long as the upside is there, right? If the very worst case was a break even over the last year.
Yeah, it is a good question though. One other metric I like to look for is like what's the most the highest seller count that item's ever had, and what was the price, and then you can treat that as like your worst case scenario, and you can also compare that to like, let's say right now it's at 50. In the past there were 50 sellers and it was $20 cheaper. Probably reasonable that it's going to be $20 cheaper unless it's way higher in demand now, right? Like kind of simple economics basically.
Yep.
Good answer.
See you, Joe.
Yeah, so Amazon's repricer is only there to make you revenue. It's not there to make you profit. So like the third party repricing market wouldn't exist if it weren't worth it.
Amazon's only incentivized for you to make as many sales as possible, right? Think about how like twisted those incentives are.
Yeah. Benefits of a reseller certificate, basically just avoiding sales tax and being able to purchase items wholesale. Yeah. On sites that accept it, of course. Yeah.
Which, obviously for wholesale, it's going to be a requirement.
Yep. And for OA, it's not needed, but on sites like Walmart and Home Depot, it is helpful. It's not required though. Yeah. There's a bunch of different reprices, Joe. You should try out a bunch of them, man. Yeah. Joey, I know you're in the roadmap, so you have a good extended free trial for BQ in there. Yeah. Cool. I appreciate everyone tapping in. I'm gonna get this it's really, I think, one of the most videos I've ever made, and I think the most helpful video I've ever made for people that are already consistently getting sales or like already in the mix and everything. So obviously all of you guys watching qualify for that. So you should totally go check it out. I'm gonna post it literally in 2 seconds. After this, follow all these guys on socials. Thanks for tuning in for another Money Monday. We do it every Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern, right there. And vibes are strong. Y'all be great.
All right. See you guys.
Y'all later.
Good vibes. See you guys.
Thanks a lot. Keto, of course. We got you guys, man. Have a great one.
Thanks, John. Thanks, C.